welcome to Kemi's Connect. Today we'll be joined by a gentleman who, though is not a native of Kansas City, has strong personal ties with the city. I'm bringing you his story today because it is so compelling and motivational. I know there's someone out there who is struggling at this point, who feels defeated, that they can't move forward. I'm here to tell you, as he will also, there is hope. You can move forward. You can move beyond this. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you take something wonderful from this message. Good afternoon, and welcome to Kemi Konnects. Today we are interviewing Breck Thurman, who is not a native of Kansas City, but has a very compelling story to tell us about himself and growth. Thank you for joining us today, Breck.
Hello, how you doing today?
I'm fine, and you?
Good, good.
Good. Okay. Breck had an incident happen to him which allowed him to grow as a person, as an individual, and also to be a inspiration to others. And he would love to tell us about that. Can you tell us how things kind of went for you, how things got started?
Okay. Well, as you mentioned, of course, I'm not a Kansas City native, originally from Texas. Went to high school here, spent several years in Kansas City as well. This particular incident we're speaking of today was when I was actually 16 years old, July 19th, 1998. I was actually washing my car and was a victim of a carjacking. Basically took place over on a local car wash on Troost Avenue. Three guys came up to me, one at a time, asking for change. Of course, being the gentleman I am, I actually gave them my change willingly. Eventually, one guy came back, asked me again if I had any change. Fumbled in my pocket, and I looked at him. I said, I don't have any more change. I don't really have anything at all. I just gave my change away. He looked at me and he said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm sure, but I'll check my ashtray if it's that important." So I reached in the car, checked my ashtray, dumped about 23 cents into his hand. He looked at it, kind of gave me a glare, and he walked back over to the other side of the stall. At this point, I started gathering my belongings, putting them in the car because I feel something's not right. As I'm getting in the car, the three guys appear back, maybe standing about 10 feet away from me, the one in the middle holding the gun, and he says, "Get down, we're going to take your car," using some profanity, some different languages there. But he says, "We're going to take your car." I immediately put my hands up, and I said, "Take it, just don't hurt me, just don't hurt me," and I start backing away from the car. As I'm backing away, the one in the middle says, "Shut up, we didn't tell you to talk, get down." As I'm getting down, that's when he shoots me. Didn't realize I was shot. I just heard the echo going off inside of the stall, and my face get really, really hot. I didn't realize I was shot at that point.
And what were your thoughts at that moment?
Well, to be honest, a lot of thoughts went through my head. Thinking back, you've seen a lot of TV shows where they have the tape around, bodies, outlines of the bodies, and they do not cross lines, police departments there. Ironically, I'm a very visual person, so the very first things that came across my mind were me being another statistic and there being a chalk outline around my body, and me just laying there. I was pretty certain I was supposed to die at that moment. As I laid there, the thoughts kept rushing through my mind as far as this is really how life is supposed to end for me. All the hard work, all the study, and all the school work, everything I've done up to this point is supposed to just end at this point. At that point, I started to catch my breath, started to breathe, and I remember asking myself, one more time, just one more chance, just get up, get up, get up. I asked God, I said, "God, give me one more chance, one more chance. Let me just get up, get up out of this stall." I started to drag myself out of the bay, drag myself into the parking lot, where I eventually stood to my knees, or stood up and got on my knees. I was very lightheaded, very aware of everything, but at the same time, I knew I had to do something. I had to get up and move. So I stood up to my knees, or stood up, and I fell back down to my knees and kind of stood there for a couple minutes, and then I walked to the street. I waved my hands as traffic and plenty of people were passing by. Several cars, several trucks, several vans, all passing me by. No one would stop for me. I felt very discouraged at this point, thinking that, wow, I'm trying. I'm really trying to survive here, and no one's helping me. So maybe this really is the time for me to die. Eventually, one particular lady drives into town, ironically from Texas. She's driving a minivan, has about 9 children in the back of the van. She pulls up on the street, and as she's driving, at this point, I kind of skipped ahead all of a sudden. But I stood up and I started walking into the middle of the street. I started walking about a block and a half. That's when she pulls up beside me from the back. Not realizing I was shot, there was no blood in the back of me, but the front of me was completely covered. When she pulls up beside me, she says, "Sir, you need to get out of the street before you get hit." I turned to look at her, and her face fell. Her face dropped. At this point, she knew something was wrong. Not only was I hurt, but I was a child that was hurt. Her nephew jumps out of the front passenger seat, starts carrying me around to the side of the van, sits me in. Immediately, all the kids in the back of the van start screaming and crying. I feel awful at this point. I'm thinking, wow, I'm about to traumatize these kids. You know, it's not worth it. I don't want to put them through this. But of course, he pushes me into the middle bench and sits me there, and keeps asking me what happened. So at this point, I'm telling him, constantly telling him, I've been shot. They took my car. I need to go to the hospital. She puts on the emergency flashers and drives all the way down to the hospital. We get to the emergency room. I wake up 2 or 3 days later at this point with my family and most of my friends from school, in the waiting room at a different hospital.
A stranger saved your life.
Yes. Ultimately, a lady by the name of Tracy saved my life.
Really? How wonderful is that?
Oh yeah, she's godsend.
Yes, she is. So this horrible incident happened to you as you were offering help to others.
Yes.
How do you feel about persons individually? Like, did that hinder you from wanting to do for people or help people at all, or as far as your character is concerned, did it change in any way?
I refuse to let the situation. I believe circumstances are circumstantial, and the situation was unfortunate, but I feel as though it was designed for me. Something to be ultimately better and will come from the situation. It never changed my personality, never changed who I was. I'm still very giving, I'm still very helpful with anyone, complete strangers. I understand that these particular individuals may have been going through something in their life. At that moment, I have no questions about what it may have been. But I understand it was those individuals. I'm more cautious of people, I'll say that for sure, but I won't let it deter my giving or my spirit at all.
That is so wonderful. Have you forgiven those people?
Yes. I forgave them when it first happened. When it first happened.
Right.
I understand it could have been finances, it could have been monetary, it could have been just something really, really silly. But at the same point in time, I knew that I had to forgive these guys and not hold them from this blessing, because it turned out to be a blessing for me.
Really?
So.
That's very awesome that you're able to sit here and say that was a blessing. Tell me how you feel this incident changed you as a person and became a blessing.
Again, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, no matter how big, no matter how great, nor small. For this particular situation, I ended up losing my eye. I was actually shot directly in my head in my right eye. That caused me to be completely blind on my right side. So although I do have a handicap, it also pushes me to help strive for more. Being the fact that I was a victim of a situation, I did not allow myself to become a victim. I wanted to become a fighter and overcome it and not let them win the situation.
At what moment did you decide that you were undefeated, that you were going to move forward and do what you wanted to do in life and not allow this to keep you stagnant?
Honestly, I can't say it was one particular moment. It's a pattern or several moments in life that made me understand exactly what I need to do and how to go further with that. I currently am a partner in a company by the name of the Driven Group. We're all individuals who had experiences that have allowed us to become driven by those experiences, by whatever events that have occurred in our life. So right now, as a business purpose or business strategy, this group of individuals that have all come together, bringing their own ideas and their own talents to the team, have encouraged us all to become driven, to inspire others to become driven, and make things happen for themselves.
And then you look great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. What do you contribute this body, your strength? Where did you get the strength to be made over? Because you're made over now.
Nice. Okay. Well, honestly, that's another part of my learning experiences from this tragedy. I believe the mind can do anything, no matter what it is. If it's something that you want to accomplish, something that you want to do, your mind is the most powerful tool to help you get there. So for me, I take health and fitness very, very, very seriously. I may eat kind of a little bit of everything, but as far as working out, as far as exercising, sports, I'm all over it. I love it. That's where the motivation comes from. You know, you got to be healthy. You got to take care of this body. At the same time, too, it helps. You know, with me doing a little modeling that I do, I could take my incident and not let it hold me back anymore.
Okay, well, that's awesome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your modeling? We'd love to hear about that.
Okay. I'm currently signed with Men's Board Model Agency out of Dallas, Texas. I'm also one of the faces for a swimwear line by the name of Appeal, APEEL. We just did a photo shoot down on the beach in Galveston, actually. Yeah, I've been working on a lot of different things. I'm in a few different magazines, doing some regular modeling. Just doing what I can do.
Saw the pictures. They are hot. Yes, they are. So be looking for that. Definitely be looking for that to support them in that. What other endeavors do you have upcoming, or what are your plans?
My plans, I still have ties to Kansas City. Again, my brother and I own a body shop here called Midwest Customs Automotive. So I'm always back and forth in and out of town, trying to do a large marketing campaign for the shop, as well as grow with Driven. With Driven Group, that particular company, we're actually working with golf, working with a couple beverages, alcohols. So it's taking off pretty well. So got a lot of things in store, a lot of things on the table right now I'm working on. Try to stay a busy young man. So.
Yes, you sound like you're a very busy young man. And how do you have time for yourself, even?
You know, myself is my gym time.
Is it?
That's the time for myself, because I could just process, focus on me and my thoughts, all the events of the day, and I can just kind of work those stresses and those thoughts out.
Well, that's good. So you've come a long way.
Come a long way.
How long has it been since your accident?
Well, ironically, this marks the 15th year anniversary. I call it my rebirthday, so the day that I was reborn.
Well, happy rebirthday.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. That concludes this segment of Kemi's Corner. Thank you so much for joining us today. Stay positive. I do.